Okay, I'm just going to do this question one more time. This one's pretty cool. We're just going to show you how you can use a graphing calculator to very quickly solve a problem like this. So you still need to understand the physics and how to set up these equations. But once you do that, we can put all these equations into what we call a matrix, which allows us to very easily solve a system of linear equations. So the first thing we need to do is take each of your equations and rewrite them in the form of like I1, so like some number I1 plus some number I2 plus some number I3 equal to some like constant. Okay, so what I mean by that is this first equation is going to rewrite as I1 minus I2 minus I3 is equal to 0. Next one I have 150 I1 plus 100 I2 plus 0 I3 is equal to 0. Oh, sorry, it's not equal to 0, it's equal to 1.5. And last one is we have 0 I1 minus 100 I2 plus 350 I3 is equal to 1.5. Okay. So you don't actually have to write those zeros there. I just put this there for us to remember. But what we actually want to do is put in a matrix. So what a matrix looks like is the following. So the first column just represents one variable. So in this case, I1. So that's why I put all the I1s on top of each other. Then the I2 is the second column, I3 is the third column, and our constant is on the fourth column. So you don't have to write any variables. All we're going to do is write down the coefficient in front. So there's 1 I1, there's a negative 1 I2, negative 1 I3, and 0. Then we have 150 I1, 100 I2, 0 I3, 1.5. And then we have 0 I1, negative 100 I2, and then 350 I3, and 1.5. So that's my matrix. It's a 3 by 4 matrix. So what we're now going to do is we're going to get our calculator. We're going to get a calculator out and we're going to plug this stuff in. Okay. So I'm going to pull over here is our calculator. Hopefully it's big enough for you to see. So to find this, we need to do matrices. So I'm going to press second and matrix. So I'm going to pull up this one. So again, our matrix one's right over there. I use a TI-83 plus. Other TI models work as well, but this should be very similar, but buttons might be somewhere slightly different. We're going to go over to edit, and basically the TI-83 is able to store quite a few different matrices. I'm just going to choose matrix A. Let's choose that one, and we're going to create a 3 by 4 matrix. Now we're just going to start plugging them in. So first one we had 1, then we have, so 1 I1, negative 1 I2, negative 1 I3, and then we get a constant of 0. And then for the next one we had 150 I1, 100 I2, no I3, that's equal to 1.5. And our last one we had was 0 I1. Then we had negative 100 I2. Make sure you actually use the negative sign, not subtract different things. We had 350 I3 and 1.5. Okay, now we created a matrix. Okay. So we have to exit this right now. So I'm going to go second quit just to get out, but that matrix still saved to the second to matrix A. So I'm going to go back to matrix. And if you just want to look at it, it's right there. It's like, oh, there's my matrix A. If I press enter, I can just take a look at it. It's like, okay, there's my matrix. And you can just look at it. So, but we don't really care about that. We know it's there. I'll go to math. So these are different mathematical operators that can be done on matrices. And again, if you take some linear algebra math classes next year, you'll learn about lots of these things. But the one you're interested in is, if we scroll down, RREF, so reduce row echelon. So RREF. So if we choose that one, RREF, and then put that matrix A inside there and press enter, it's going to basically go through all the linear algebra math and solve for it. Press enter and we get our values. So we see that now it says, here's our equation. I1 is equal to that. I2 is equal to that value. I3 is equal to that one. And if you remember what we just did in the previous question, we got I1 was equal to 0.008. And I2 equal to 0.0029. And I3 is equal to 0.0051. So it did its math. There we go. And we are done. And we can clear that. So graphing calculator, very powerful stuff. This is one example of what we can do. If you want to take a look at some of the other operators, not as useful, but it depends on what you do in math. Like if you just did REF instead, not going to be as useful because what it does is it reduces it down to the following. Oh. Yeah, it's not as useful. Just make sure you do the REF one. Feel free to play around, learn.